My name is Jimmy Markham. I kind of grew up in Tulsa here. I've been into music ever since I left high school. When I left high school, I went to immediately to Los Angeles, and I've been doing the music thing ever since. Leon and I met. I went to Central High School. Leon went to Will Rogers, which both high schools, you know, in Tulsa, across town from each other. And through the nightclub, playing in nightclubs, which Leon was doing when he was in high school, he was playing them at nighttime and going to school in the daytime. And there were 3 or 4 bands and band leaders that were doing the same thing, playing these old dingy nightclubs, beer joints here in town. And we met through that association. Somebody, exactly who introduced me to him, I really don't remember. But they said, man, you got to hear this piano player. He's unbelievable. And we went over to his mother's house on the north side one afternoon and had a little impromptu jam session. And he had she had an upright piano there. His mother was a piano teacher. And that's where Leon learned to play piano, actually. And so we went over there and just kind of fooled around, I don't know, 4 or 5 of us, and sang songs and played music that afternoon, and watched him in amazement, you know, to how clever he was, how good he was. There were some piano players around here that played in those early bands that I'm talking about, but no one that played like Leon. I mean, Leon was a genius. There's no doubt about it. I think I just have to say, let me take you out to hear this guy, man, because there's actually probably nothing that Leon couldn't play, even at that time. He grew up on what we call standards, and that's the old 30s, 40s music. That's what his mother taught. Like I said, she was a very accomplished piano teacher, and that's where he got his roots. That's where he got his learning. So he knew every standard. You know, there'd be like Misty, Teach Me Tonight, those type of things. Pretty complicated music before he ever probably heard rock and roll. Our friendship was great. So we played around here, as I said, in different bands and at different nightclubs, all through high school. And even after we got out of high school, by that time we had became pretty good buddies and kind of hanging out, and he was coming out to a club I played all the time, the Paradise Club, and sitting in out there and playing with us, as well as Chuck Blackwell and Carl Radel. Got back here, and Leon by that time decided that it was time to try LA. We knew a couple of guys that had gone out there and were still out there and working, you know, consistently, 6 and 7 nights a week if you wanted to, in nightclubs in Orange County. And so he went out there, Leon, and got settled in out there and was working the nightclub scene over in Orange County, and started contacting me. You got to come out here. This is what's happening. This is where it's at. It's wild and crazy, you know. And there's so much work that That's all we wanted to do was work in nightclubs, you know. Well, you did have to be of age to do that, believe it or not, at that time, which you didn't hear. I mean, it wasn't enforced. So he fooled around and got a bogus driver's license with the name Leon Russell on it from somebody out there. He acquired that. That's where that name came from, Leon Russell. And in order that he could work, Russell Bridges was his birth name, given name. And so this one was Leon Russell. However, you know, he fooled around and got that. That's where that name came from. I came back in 1969. I was kind of semi-removed from the business, but I wasn't. I got married back in that day, and when this started exactly, I wasn't here like the day that it started everything. Eventually, I came down here and cut a album down here, and then, you know, kind of came down here quite a bit. I recorded with a number of people down here. He moved back, bought the place, the home here. Now he was still out traveling also, you know, still doing gigs. So he was around here, in and out of here, not prominently here a lot, but he was in town when he was here in town. He was here. When I came down, I knew a lot of people worked here in some capacity, you know, or another. And a lot of people that lived on this block, because he bought almost the entire block here of homes and moved a lot of the people that worked here into those houses. Remember that. And we were down here, I was down here, you know, quite a bit. Well, there were always people coming and going, and it seemed to be a pretty close-knit atmosphere with the people that were involved in the business here, the offices and the administration, you know, people that worked here. Yeah, it seemed to be pretty tight-knit, and there were a lot of people that came through here and recorded that made it pretty interesting and exciting to see them. There was a lot going on here. Phoebe Snow got an album here, which had a hit on it, and Georgie Fame cut here. I played on that session with Georgie. So there was some high-profile people that were in and out of here, besides Leon's crew and any of that. I think probably the first thing I did, his partner, Denny Cordell, I did an album here. Bill Boatman produced it, who's another local guy that was in California with us for many years and worked with a lot of different people. Bill produced it. We cut an album here, and it never got anywhere. I've still got those tracks to this day. So we did that. I cut here with Georgie Fame, who's an Englishman who had a number of hit records. Who else did I cut with here? Did some things with Tommy Overstreet, who was a country star. Who else? I think maybe Don Preston did album here. I think I played on that. What can I say about Tulsa? There's been so much great music out of here that has not, I feel, been documented and or, I don't know if underappreciated is the word, but it hasn't been recognized. And we have 3 or 4 artists that have shook up major music business in the world, you know. J.J. Cale, David Gates, Leon Russell. I mean, they did a lot in the music business. So I've always wanted to see their names preserved and what went down with that. Being there and, like I say, never thought of it or you know, tried to analyze what it was. We were just doing it, and I guess from an outsider's look at it, maybe it was quite diverse, you know. I don't know, it was just, like I said, we never thought about that. It was just, we were just doing it. But he created a style, yeah. He created his styles that a successful artist, being Leon, that had great success, came here and started establishing this studio. Maybe there weren't a lot of people outside of the shelter people or talent that someone out of the shelter circle, be it Denny, Tom Russell, the engineer, whoever, they usually brought people in to do that. Leon's always been tech crazy, and so at that time he knew he was going to have the best stuff in here that you could get. Leon is probably one of the greatest arrangers in the world. I was fortunate to be, after I went to California with him, and I'm going to backtrack here, of going to probably 2 years of session work that he was involved in. I'm talking about major sessions, the real deal, where there might be a 30-piece string orchestra, and then everything was live. They did it all, you know, at one time then, in all of those big studios. His knowledge of arrangements, of arranging, is it's unreal. I mean, the guy, and he could have done that. He could have written for anyone that he wanted to. Beautiful, I'm talking about lush string orchestration. He was probably one of the greatest arrangers that's ever lived. That's a pretty strong statement, but by God, it's true. And he just didn't have any desire for that. But Leon was a musical genius. I mean, there's just no question about it. He truly was. He, you know, he had all the things, the perfect pitch. He just knew what it took to take something and make it as much as a diamond as he could, you know. He could make stuff sound beautiful quickly. Well, we want you to come see it. And I mean, you're off to a great start here, and I know it's going to be great when it's completed. And museum, recording-wise, whatever, but we just need people to come see what Tulsa's created, and this being one of the first really true national places that in regard to Tulsa that really fits kind of like a hand in glove, you know. At least that's what I think. So we want you to just come visit Tulsa, come visit the church studio.